is up, y'all? So I'm fresh off the state of play, and I gotta say, that was one of the most interesting state of plays I've seen so far. Now, I know y'all saw the thumbnail, but before we get into it, please, I would like you to like, comment down below on your thoughts about this video, and subscribe for more content. Trying to hit 500 subscribers, so y'all hitting that button would mean a lot to me. Without saying done, let's get into the video. Now, looking back at the state of play that happened on Tuesday, we got a lot of great announcements. First of all, we are going to get a new Silent Hill game called Silent Hill Townfall. We got a new Onimusha Way of the Sword trailer, which is sick by the way. And on top of that, we also got a new Phantom Blade Zero trailer. The game is scheduled to release this summer, so that's already interesting. As well, we got a new Tomb Raider game that's coming out and a new Until Dawn 2 that's in the works. But even with all that said and done, we gotta talk about the two highlighted games that are in the works right now. One of it being Marvel's Wolverine and the other one being God of War Laufey. But let's start off with Marvel's Wolverine. Insomniac Games has been developing Marvel's Wolverine for quite a while, especially after the whole data mine leak. But even with all that said and done, the trailer for the game, the brutality in the combat, and the fact that we have tag moves, although we don't play as characters like Jean Grey or Mystique possibly, all we can do is play as Wolverine throughout the entirety of the duration, and I don't really see a problem with that. Because again, it's titled Marvel's Wolverine. You are playing as Wolverine. And aside from that, in the trailer, we also got a good look at Jean Grey. We also got information that there is no X-Men in this. They are basically formed a faction, whereas they go around to save mutant kind away from some of these, well, I don't really know how to put that, but like, let's say villains. And what we see in the trailer is that they are all fully committed to killing anyone who gets in their way. Not that they're bad guys or anything, but they're literally offing people. Jean Grey in that trailer was literally taking out a few people. On top of that, we also see how Wolverine's regeneration works. And in a way, it does show that literal chunks of flesh are coming out of him if he gets attacked or damaged. On top of that, he can die, but if he dies, he gets like a burst of, I think, adrenaline or so to basically get himself back up and be in like in a rage-filled state, which is completely 100% Wolverine. But aside that, the gameplay does look okay. The graphics, however, it does need some work. But potentially, if the story is good and looking at the boss fights, we got Sabretooth in that trailer. So yes, we got Sabretooth and Omega Red and a Sentinel going to be a main boss fight for Wolverine. So there is literally hype looking up for the game. But now we gotta move on to the main elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen, God of War Laufey. Now, I'm going to say this as a major fan of the God of War franchise and the IP itself, and has played all the games from 1, 2, 3, Ascensions, Chains of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta, 2018 God of War, Ragnarok, and the Valhalla DLC. I am comfortably happy that we are getting a God of War Laufey game. Look, I love the hack and slash system that is in God of War, but what I do like the most is the story, the lore, the history behind it. I want to understand more about it. I want to see more from Kratos, how he interacts with all these different pantheons. And what's better is the fact that not only is this going to expand for Faye's own story, this game is set to take place at the moment, immediately the moment after her funeral in 2018 God of War's prologue. You already noticed there's that scene where Kratos and Atreus start the game off by basically laying Faye's body to rest, lighting it on fire, and then from there the story begins. Her ashes reaches to a whole different reality called the Everywhen. In this realm, this is basically where every single god from different pantheons go to die. But the thing is, they keep fighting in that realm to show which pantheon is superior. Look, I'm gonna put on my God of War nerd cap on, and I'm gonna explain to you how important this is, because it seems as though people just don't like a good story. People don't like lore at all. That is why this generation is literally the problem when it comes to games coming out and it's not doing well. Let me explain to you. Laufey, the wife of Kratos, the mother of Atreus, this woman was said in many stories in 2018 and in Ragnarok that this woman was different. Stated by Kratos to be the most fiercest warrior he has ever met. Literally implied by multiple stories to have gone one-on-one against Thor, even clashing to the point that she froze lightning. You know that feat that Kratos did against Thor in Ragnarok? Yeah, she did that shit before him. Yes, if you were to play Ragnarok, you would see the lightning that she froze. It is in the realm of Vanaheim. And on top of that, in her first 20 minutes of her gameplay, not only is she woken up, the first thing she did after she got her weapon was she knocked the soul out of an enemy and proceeded to 1v1 a Mongolian god of war. One thing that we should take into account is the fact that Santa Monica Studios have known what the direction of God of War should be. They have kept it in their mind that the game would have so much depth behind it. And it's only up to us, the consumers, us, the fans, not the LARPers, not the people who just got into God of War from 2018. No, those who are actually taking interest in the story to have their own interest, to have their own pleasure, to support them in making a phase own game. I'm telling you this right now. After seeing what Twitter has showed me, the amount of people that hate the game just because it has a female protagonist or basically you don't play as Kratos tells me a lot that people have one-track minds. People are basically similar to that of the original creator. No hate to the original creator of Kratos, but again, there is more to a character than just killing gods. It is common logic that if a game is too one-dimensional, it will not be received well for future audiences. That is why Santa Monica Studios took the risk and made 2018 God of War. That game won Game of the Year against Red Dead Redemption 2. And then they went on to make Ragnarok, which competed against Elden Ring and won 6 awards in one night. Well, look, I'm going to take my cap off. I'm going to say this right now. If you're hyped about the God of War Laufey game, congratulations. If you have issues with the God of War Laufey game, I would say that you need to go take a look at the mirror and reflect on yourself and ask yourself why. Because I'm not going to ask you why. Because I already know my answer. My answer is that I am hyped and I am waiting to see what more unfolds for her story. And with that all being said, I would like to thank you all for joining me in this video. Please leave me a like and subscribe to my content. I am really trying to ensure that I get up to 500 subs before the end of the month. I don't think it may be possible, but who knows. Aside from that, comment down below on what you thought about this video and the state of play and which game you are hyped for in that state of play. I'm gonna make a video about Summer Game Fest. If you didn't know, Summer Game Fest is gonna come out this Friday, so I'm gonna make a video talking about whatever news may come. So with that all being said, I'd like to thank you all for joining me in this video. Like I said before, like, comment, and subscribe. And Dre Sims out.